Welcome to episode 3 of the Pen Bubble. Today, the topic is holding brands accountable. Before we start the podcast, I'd like to preface that BSU is an all-inclusive club that advocates for diversity and free thought. We seek to understand and educate. Here, individuals do not have to fit a certain narrative of thinking or creed. As long as everyone is respectful, we are willing to facilitate the conversation. My name is Alexis, and the first leading question is, when is inclusivity necessary? Casey, take it away.
For this question, a good example to cite is a double standard in the beauty industry in Kim's Kardashian brand Skims versus Nubian Skin, just for example. So in the case of Kim Kardashian's brand, face masks and clothes that are said to be in nude colors only truly work as nudes against white skin and have a lot of contrast against more melanated skin. But Nubian Skin, on the other hand, is a Black-owned loungewear company, and they have legitimately good nudes for skin with more melanin. Now, should this inclusivity be something that we hold the brands accountable for?
Okay. Courtney, take it away.
Hi, I'm Courtney. I'm the Vice President of BSU. And yes, I think this is something we should hold brands accountable to because a nude is supposed to be something that is it can't just be for one skin tone, it has to be for all. And clothing can't just be fit for one group of people. It has to be adjusted to all body types and all skin tones. And it's not fair for anyone who has darker skin or lighter skin to have to go to different stores to get clothes that they like.
Okay, Banky.
Hi, I'm Banky, and I'm the president of BSU. And I think that all brands should be held accountable, especially if you want to go into the market of America, which is a really inclusive, well, not inclusive, but there are a lot of different colors of people. And for a brand to actually prosper and develop, they need to provide for all colors of skin, from the palest to the darkest. And I think there shouldn't be a discussion on it.
I would agree personally, Banky. I feel like when it comes to nudes, those are things that are specifically targeted for different skin colors. It's one of those things that has to be inclusive. There's some things where it's like, it's a nice thought, but when it comes to clothing in the beauty industry, that's something that everyone should be able to wear, not just skin color, different sizes as well. So that leads us to the next one, which is KKW Beauty versus Fenty Beauty. Now, we already mentioned how Kim Kardashian hasn't really been known for inclusivity and has also been known for some cultural appropriation. With KKW, let's just say just like the other one, her nudes weren't targeted for people with melanated skin, versus Fenty Beauty, which both brands are very expensive. I'll give you that. But Fenty has always been on top of that kind of stuff, not just with inclusivity of skin color, body positivity. I've never seen male models with body inclusivity in underwear before. And Fenty Beauty was on top of that. They also have like really great skin. There's some really great clothes. Okay, so I have to ask, should we hold these brands accountable? Casey.
Hi, I'm Casey. I forgot to mention it before. I'm a member at large of the club. And I would say yes. As far as clothing goes, both in terms of people with different body types and people of different skin tones, clothes should be something that everybody can universally enjoy, no matter what their body is like, and no matter what potential differences they might bring to the table as a customer. Companies should be marketing for everybody, not just society's typical image of what an ideal human looks like.
Okay, Mikey?
Yeah, I believe that these brands should be held accountable. I also think that they should be held accountable all year round because this is a thing that pops up a lot anytime there is a movement for inclusivity. Anytime like a BLM protest comes up, or there's some kind of thing where they call out brands, they're like, oh, you don't have enough skin tones here, you don't have enough inclusivity even for like LGBT stuff, other things like that. They fix it for probably a couple months, and then they kind of drop it again. And I guess I believe it is important for these brands to go all out, and it's important for us to keep them accountable. Like if they do something for a cause, if BLM causes them to do something inclusive, then they have to keep that. They cannot get rid of that after a few months. That has to be a permanent change. And I think that people should go all out in all kinds of inclusivity, as in when they have nudes, nude colors, they better have like all the skin colors, or they shouldn't have nudes. It should just be like patterns or whatever. But you have to go all out. You can't do halfway, you know.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. That's actually something that we could also touch on a new podcast. Makwa.
To answer your question, I think they should. I think that we should hold brands accountable, but more importantly, I think it's important for brands to branch out in their like hiring, like who they hire and who they bringing on to consult them on the sensitivities of certain things, because I feel like a lot of business like things that we've seen in the past were like with racial insensitivity, a lot of those things could have been prevented if they had the right people to guide them and counsel them on what would be right to put out as a product and what may be considered as insensitive. So that's all.
Okay. And now we go to a different brand for Band-Aids. Courtney, take it away.
Okay, similar to what Mikey was saying, recently Band-Aids have decided to add different colors to their Band-Aid brand. So after 100 years and a widespread protest of racial inequality, Band-Aid has decided that they wanted to launch Band-Aids in ranges of light, medium, and deep shades of brown and black skin. And according to CNN, they donated $100,000 to the Black Lives Matter movement. But on the other side, brands like True Color, which are Black owned and have been making inclusive bandages since the beginning of their business, have been doing this for a very long time. So should we hold these brands accountable?
Thank you.
Definitely. I couldn't even stress more. We should hold these brands accountable. And I think them donating money is just like a cheap move and trying to get the Black community or just other people to see them as, oh, they're actually trying to do something for the community. Oh, they're like philanthropists. But I think they're just trying to save themselves in that case. And I understand that maybe it's because, like Makwa said before, it's who they hired to be a part of their board and like making decisions. But I understand that Black people with more racially filled names are less likely to be hired in those types of companies. So that's just another reason why they should be held accountable and try to strive for better.
Okay. Amanda.
Hi, I'm Amanda, a member at large, and I think, yes, they should be held accountable because if you look at other Band-Aid brands like Courtney mentioned, True Color, they have been making Band-Aids that do attend to other skin tones, and the conversation has been brought up previously, oh, well, it's just a Band-Aid, like, does it really matter? And I think in that sense, people can look at it like, oh, no, it doesn't. But I think the thought process behind it was like, why was the first shade that you went to, like, it internalized for so long was only white? Primarily the shade was, somebody went to say so far that it was like nude. And I think we can look at that and say, like, internalized for so long, like the main color they went to was just white, and it took them so long to change, and it took them until this large movement came up for them to change. And going back to what Mikey said, like, we need to hold these brands accountable, and if they're going to make the change, they shouldn't be just doing it for a little bit.
Okay. Casey?
Calling back to what Mikey said, in regard to Band-Aids attempting to be a nude color, they only work as a sort of nude, like even theoretically for lighter skin. But from a practical standpoint, I have yet to meet someone, black, white, or otherwise, for whom a Band-Aid is legitimately a good skin match. Like, the fact that there was an attempt on this to make it a nude, like, it makes sense. And it shouldn't have been that way because they paint white as the default. And that, like, internalizes that white people are the more normal people in society, which is wrong. But because the attempt was so lousy to be a nude even for white people, in my opinion, Band-Aid should have just gone for a color like lime green or something like that that was equally as blatantly awful a match on skin as their current one, but also not racially questionable. So if anybody at Band-Aid is listening, take my advice.
Okay, that's fair. Personally, I feel like this is more of like a utility thing. It's something that's a nice thought now. Of course, it's probably charged by, BLM, but I see it as more of like it's a band-aid. It's supposed to cover something. It's not supposed to match your skin. And like Casey just said, I've never met a single person ever who a band-aid has matched their skin. I've never seen it as a racial issue or anything until kind of now, I guess, because they're changing it. But I never saw it as like, oh, they're not trying to be inclusive or whatever, or their default is white. I don't see it that way. I see it as like, okay, it's nice that they're trying to be inclusive now, I guess, but it's not, for me at least, it's not that big of a deal. That's just me. Well, thank you guys so much